Hey guys, CreamCrazy here. Welcome to my December Q&A. Hope you're enjoying a great weekend, and guys who are watching football out there, hope you're having a good time, hoping the match of the day is going to be fantastic. Anyway, I've been sitting on these questions for, well over 3 months now. And to be honest with you, luckily of them, they've never gone out of date, which has been a fucking godsend, because I haven't had to delete many of them. Brilliant enough. I'm sorry this has taken so long to reach this point. I mean, I've had Christmas and tiredness issues and just plain laziness on my part. So, at least it's coming towards the end of the month, and this will be the last video I do of 2012 as well, which is pretty damn awesome when you really think about it. So, yeah, thought I'd end 2012 in a bit of long, elongated style. So, yeah, this is going to be a long one, so sit down, relax, do whatever you want to do while listening to this video, because to be honest, there isn't much to look at. All there's going to be is a Q&A screen, and that's about it. So just listen to me, sit back, relax, and if you need to, go get some popcorn, sit near a toilet, do whatever the hell you need to do to make yourself comfortable. Anyway, let's go on with this. Firstly, we're going to start off with the wrestling Q&A, followed up by the personal Q&A, as people have been sending me questions of both types. That should be quite interesting. Well, I hope it is anyway. First off, we have Elizabeth1990, who asks, if you were the same age that you are now in the 80s, early 90s, what wrestling matches would you have liked to have seen live or on TV, and which wrestlers alive or dead would you have liked to have met back then? Wrestlers I would have liked to have met would have obviously been Bret Hart, Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, basically anyone who could wrestle damn well. I mean, I'd like to have seen and met Shawn Michaels pre-2002. That would have been hysterically fun. But yeah, all the ones I would have loved to have met, or maybe Randy Savage as well, mostly because I would have loved to be in the awe of the insanity that would be him. So, it would have been awesome, I would have thought. Matches I would have liked to have seen live, I would have loved to have seen Savage versus Steamboat live. I would have loved to have seen predominantly any match that Bret Hart had in the early 90s up until about 94. So, actually no, fuck it, I would have seen any match that Bret did, but think about it. Owen Hart versus Bret live, I would have seen that in a fucking heartbeat. On TV, I would have actually liked to, and this is not the early 90s, but I would have loved to experience the Iron Man match on TV in the flesh when it happened, because it would have been interesting to see how I would view it live rather than looking back on it on a retrospective point. If that doesn't fully answer your question, I apologise, but it was slightly cryptic in my view. Playlistmaker SG. If WWE was real, whose finisher do you think would be the most effective and which would be the weakest? There are a few of these which I would definitely consider to be the strongest. The GTS. Predominantly because you're getting kneed in the fucking face. Do I need to say it any more than that? You're getting a knee to the mouth. If not to the mouth, the nose. Therefore, that should be enough to say, you're going to get hurt. Really, I honestly would think that would be painful. The label lock, or the cattle mutilation, because to be honest with you, the amount of torque being put on your neck, back, arm and face in both of those moves, one more so than the other on both of those, would be ridiculously painful. The Cobra, if done right, would hit you in the Adam's apple and really hurt you, which is the reason why I do not find it a massive joke, even though it has a sock puppet on it. The weakest. Now, there's only one move that I feel really, there are two moves actually, which really hit to me as being really, really weak. Because, okay, the mandible claw, right? Okay, the Cobra hits you face or throat, or even the Samoan Spike hits you in the throat. The problem with the mandible claw, I find, is you're just shoving it down someone's throat. Okay, they might gag a bit and they can choke on their own sick, but apart from that, we don't see it happen though, do we? So, is it really a strong move? How can you grip onto the inside of someone's teeth and then knock them out? To me, that doesn't really seem real. That would definitely be weak. The other one would be the Playmaker, MVP's old finisher, where he rolled their neck through. Randy Orton used this in 2002 for his finisher, the Overdrive. I think, okay, Your leg is on the back of someone's neck. You're pulling their arm and you're slamming that to the ground. More or less, you're cushioning their head and hurting their arm. I think that's pretty weak, because it's more for show, I find. I would say that it's definitely a move that is decorated more as a show pony piece. 100% a show pony piece. If anything, it is that. And if you don't think so, well, it's your opinion, but nonetheless, my opinion will stand out. This is my Q&A. Final limits. What did you think of Nicole Bass, who feuded with Jeff Jarrett and Deborah in 1999? Of course, that was the match that followed on after... after Owen Hart fell to his death tragically, so that's one thing that will always stick in my mind. And this is the quote they put here. Her muscles were like a dude's. Seriously, bitch took roids. Now, that's pretty obvious to say. Nicole Bass was fugly. Honestly, because, yeah, the muscles did not help. However, I must note one thing I did. I did some research on Nicole Bass when I got this question in, because I knew who she was. I just needed to make sure there was no little extra. You know what I mean? There's no extra thing that goes, okay, this explains why she has massive muscles. However, there was actually one thing that made me realise, holy shit, this is the reason why. She has huge pecs and shit on her arms and body. Because she was a female bodybuilder before coming into the company. Basically, an idea for Mr. McMahon to go, that's pretty good, I like that. Plus, she was also a dominatrix porn star. Really, honestly to God, Nicole Bass had nothing of use at all in the WWE product. Or WWF product, I should say, back in the late 90s. She was just there for shock value and show. She had nothing else apart from that. Literally. Luna Vachon looked a lot better, and it was a lot more hard-hitting in her day than this woman, Nicole Bass, ever could have been. And honestly, Nicole Bass, technically, when you think about it, you can see the similarities to Chyna, because Chyna kind of had the bodybuilder-esque physique while looking beautiful, and she's now become a porn star. That's a bit of a strange quinky-dink, isn't it? Nicole Bass, bodybuilder and porn star. Now Chyna is a former wrestler, bodybuilder-esque person, and a porn star. Pretty weird, don't you think? I love Watermelons525. I'm really sorry to hear that you shut your channel down, but your questions are here. I don't think I could have found the other one. I tried to look for the one that you said I would preserve for another Q&A. I couldn't track it down, unfortunately, so I apologise if you're watching this right now, but that's life. I've still got some more questions here. All should be good. Does Sheamus only get pushed because he sucks Triple H's you-know-what? I'm kidding. In all seriousness, though, is it because he's Triple H's friend that he's World Heavyweight Champion? Or, shall I say, in past tense, was World Heavyweight Champion? Do you know what? The thing about backstage politics is it works in that unique way. Triple H, being in the high position he is, if he likes somebody, they will get pushed. It's just how it is. And to be honest with you, it's like if Mr. McMahon likes something. Boom. To the top. Right back. Sorry. The fact is, in my opinion, Sheamus really does have almost a complete package, really. I mean, he's got a unique-ish moveset, a great look, he's got decent mic skills when he's not really corny, and in all fairness, WWE, it looks a lot different from everybody else. Therefore, he's easily marketable. Triple H's influence got him somewhere quicker. I mean, honestly to God, he would be world champion now if he hadn't have been pushed a couple of years before this. Because, I mean, if he'd won the Rumble this year and he'd not been world champion, it would have been fine and he would have been built as next star pretty well because he's spent 2 years building himself up. Hell, facing Triple H last year, 2011, at WrestleMania 27, would have been fantastic for him. That would have been a good way to build something up. But unfortunately, WWE have rushed him because Triple H saw good in him. So, you know, yeah, he would have gotten pushed anyway, but Triple H's influence did make it happen a lot faster than we ever could have expected. But then again, Triple H loves Dean Ambrose, so I'm hoping something good comes from that, if you know what I mean. Playlist Maker SG, your next question. Would you rather see Cody versus Goldust or Cody versus Dusty with both being in their prime? Let me think. Cody and Goldust, I would think, are kind of similar in terms of in-ring style. I think Cody is a very methodical worker who uses a lot of striking and almost very similar, simple grapple attacks to get on somebody. Goldust, very, very similar, although using more grapples and submissions, as you can obviously tell. However, I think for me, I would rather see Cody versus Dusty, I think. It would be much more interesting, the father versus son dynamic. Cody in his prime, which is now, versus Dusty in his prime, which was the late 70s, mid to the mid 80s, would have been brilliant. I would have loved to have seen the brawling, extreme style of Dusty go against the cleaner, more technical-based Cody, because that, I always say, opposites somehow attract, and in this case it would have attracted. It would have been brilliant. I thought, yeah, I would pay to watch that. Why it hasn't happened, I do not fucking know. Then again, I think it might have. No, it was Orton versus Dusty that happened. La-di fucking da. But seriously, Cody versus Goldust would be a great match to end Goldust's WWE career, but he already ended it with his own religious comments on Twitter. So that ain't gonna happen. So, I would rather see Cody versus Dusty. End of story. That would be fun as hell. Plus, Dusty can still go in the ring, so you never know. Him and Sandow could piss him off while invading NXT or something. That could be an easy way of making the match happen. I Love Watermelons 525. If Benoit hadn't taken out his family and only killed himself, would WWE talk about him and feature him in games and DVDs? Please may I note, it mentioned only killed himself. I definitely think so, because obviously, if Benoit had killed himself, WWE would look into things and wondering, why did this happen? Nowinski would have probably still shown him the findings of concussion problems, and they would have probably put in the stuff relating to emotional issues and concussion stuff anyway. That would have all been used, the stuff would have been done. And I think that there wouldn't be as much negative stigma across Chris Benoit at all. He would be featured in the DVDs and games because there's nothing to shy away from. It was just an unfortunate case where the mental stress of everything got to him and he killed himself. Seriously, that would have been all it was, and apart from what we've got now. It wouldn't be what it is now, honestly. And that would have been better for everybody, I think. Cancerous mic work. What are your thoughts on Jeff Jarrett and his country gimmick during the mid-90s? I fucking hated it. Because I hate Jeff Jarrett at the best of times, despite knowing he's a decent in-ring worker and a good mic worker. I don't like him personally. Mostly because of TNA, for the most part. But the fact is, that country, I hate country generally as a music genre and a fashion style, so, and actually a class of people in terms of how they sometimes adopt those genre-specific tags and use them as their own personality, that kind of thing. I hate that, and it's just very shit in terms of a gimmick. Jesse James from Road Dogg's theme music, I'm Gonna Love You Tonight, was done in the same era of it, and it was just, ugh. Awful, fucking awful. I hated it to this day. It's one of the worst gimmicks I've ever seen. One of the worst theme songs I've ever seen. Hated it. Playlist Maker SG. What are your thoughts on Essa Rios? Oh, God. Here's a guy I know the name of, but just do not know much about him. And therefore, I'm not going to comment too much on that. Sorry about that, Playlist Maker SG. Could not answer your question, unfortunately. Nintendo Fanboy 1988. What did you think of Techno Team 2000, the short-lived tag team during the mid-90s? Here's a little thought. They were short-lived for a reason. They were shit. Oh, that team that came from the future and was willing to do things here in the past to make everything right. Bull. It's one of those weird things where in the mid-90s you were thinking, why the hell were WWE throwing these gimmicks at us? Why were they looking at these really shit ideas? Hell, to be honest, there were some worse. I mean, there was Max Moon, there was Mantor, there was Damien Demento. But these guys, they looked okay, but they were nothing. That's why they were short-lived. End of story. I Love Watermelons 525. What if Daniel Bryan was wrestling John Cena and Cena botched a move ending Bryan's career? Would John's life be at risk due to Bryan's fans and Cena's haters? The IWC would be pissed. But to be honest with you, I think they would be good people and understand that in this industry, anything can happen and accidents do happen. I mean, look at what happened with Droz and D'Lo Brown, for example. To be honest with you, that's a complete accident. You don't hear people shitting over D'Lo Brown for doing it. Honestly. So I don't think that the fans would be pissed off at Cena because, again, in this industry, accidents do happen. I mean, hell, Candice Michelle broke her neck because of that really annoying botched rope move. So, you can't blame the divas doing that, did you? So, exactly. There wouldn't be any hatred towards Cena. It would just be a part of the industry happening again. It would be unfortunate to see Bryan's career end this way, but yeah, it just happens. I wouldn't go mental here. Napoleon Guru. Wrestlers breaking character and bursting out laughing during their promo segments. Is there a chance of seeing this happen? You know what? I've never actually really seen it happen. I mean, okay, apart from the... oh, God, apart from the storm... Oh, bloody hell, I can't remember the name of the fucking thing now. Oh, God. I know what it is. Oh, you know when Fred Ottoman had that Star Wars Stormtrooper head? Like the Storm Master or something like that. See, I'm a guy who knows my wrestling history. I know exactly what moment time is, but I haven't fucking well heard the bloody gimmick name in so long. I haven't bloody well I've forgotten the damn thing. But you know what I mean. I can see people were laughing losing their collective shit when that happened. But I think because nowadays WWE and wrestling is actually got a lot of professionalism to it. Unless it was meant for the character, then honestly it wouldn't happen on a regular basis. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to say on that one. Mark Tam's 1990. Which show has the most suitable theme? Well, you know what? The most suitable themes for the show, let me think about this, because there are a few shows right here that WWE have. The main shows which have a lot of good music on it, and to be honest, a lot of them don't fit. I mean, SmackDown, Know Your Enemy. Why the hell thought that was a good idea? Oh, it's a big band, let's use its anthemic song. It is anthemic, but it doesn't bloody work. Seriously, this does not work in the slightest. Who thought this did is an idiot. It does not work at all. It doesn't hype me up. It doesn't hype the crowd up. It just kind of annoys me that a decent song is being ruined by an affiliation to a show which it doesn't actually fit with. Superstars, Adelita's Way annoys me quite a bit. And it's very bland. It works for the show, however, but I just don't like it too much. And I think they could have gone for something a lot more hard-hitting. Main Event's theme song, Diamond Eyes, Boom Lay Boom, by Shinedown. Well, I've already said Shinedown twice in that, fuck it. But you see, that song is the song I would rather have SmackDown use. Because that's the kind of song that gets people, up on their seat, chanting along with it and just going mental. They know SmackDown's coming. It's hard-hitting, aggressive, and good stuff. That's what SmackDown needs for a theme song, But they didn't give it. They gave it to Main Event instead. Stupid idea, I would have changed it. But it suits Main Event, but because Main Event is a very mediocre, low-down show in the calendar, it does not suit... It suits a show that's larger. It suits a TV show like SmackDown. Then we get to the other two, which are Raw and NXT. Now, NXT's Welcome Home by Cody and Cambria, and that suits that show to a fucking T. Intense, in your face, it's modern-ish, and it's well known. To me, it means that NXT had a lot of legitimacy from it. It made you sit up and pay attention to it, because it makes you think, wow, this song's epic. These young guys, are better be damn well good to fit what show this is. And plus, a small venue, it makes it different. It's different from everything else the WWE shows have got for theme songs on a TV level. So yeah, it works. The Raw theme, people say doesn't work. To me, it does, because tonight's the night. It's the night when WWE kicks off its week. It's where, on wrestling terms, you start your week. It's the night showing where, all the big guys are here. Come watch Raw. I like it. People hate it, but I really like it. It suits the show. It's catchy. It's more futuristic to fit with the style of the entrance they've got. And, yeah, I think it works. However, NXT's just fits. NXT's fits to an actual T, and I would love to see more people would love for it. In fact, I've nominated it for the best theme or promotional song of the year, so that works out well. We'll find out if that's won on Wednesday. Not Tuesday, fuck it. Yeah. Wait, is it? It's one of the two. It's New Year's Day, I'll give it that. Michael Wilson, my friend from college. Hope you're doing well, mate. If you could create the next WWE game, what would you call it? What 3 things would you add, and what 3 things would you take away? I wouldn't actually change the name, to be honest with you. I like the 13 and 14 add-ins. Because, okay, SmackDown vs. Raw was crap. I did like the idea of having a new tagline every SmackDown game. I liked that a lot. But, to be honest with you, it makes it more official. You look at WWE, look at FIFA 13, all the sports games around, adds a bit of gaming legitimacy there. I think they want to make sure they add a bit of legitimacy to the thing, otherwise there wouldn't be any point in doing it. What I would add are these three things. Fighting in the crowd, because honestly, we had an Attitude Era game, we've had violence in it with other match types. Fighting in the crowd is just something we have missed. It is fantastic to use, and plus, whenever you have a guy go through the barricade in an oh my god moment in WWE 13, you wish they could just go past the barricade and fight in the crowd, but you can't because of stupid things. I want to see that. It just adds another dynamic, and plus, here comes the pain. Who could forget? You can drive Undertaker's motorcycle and drag someone by their neck across the parking lot and go to Times Square, jump off a helicopter and throw someone off the ledge of Times Square into a car below and killing them practically. Come on, that's fun, isn't it? Speaking of Here Comes the Pain, the second thing I would add is a Here Comes the Pain-esque career mode. Now, you're saying to me, okay, Attitude Era mode's fine. Universe mode's fine. But the fact is, what I loved about the Here Comes the Pain career mode was you could start it from fucking scratch. Literally. Because you know what? Universe mode, what I hate about it, is the shows and everything in between have already been created for you. You have to work around what's already been put in place. And to me, that's bull. Because if I was in the universe, I thought, okay, everything's been made, I wouldn't be too happy with that, because I have plans. If you know me and you've been on Skype a few times, you might have seen my gigantic WWE 13 document, which has all the brands, champions, pay-per-view cards, the lot, and I keep a hold of that from the moment I switch games. So I would rather have an ability to change it from the get-go, because what's the point of having everything exactly how they want it to be? Hell, you can't even remove tag teams easily. You can't even make a new team because the teams are already there, and you think, oh, fuck it, I can't put a team together because someone else already made one for me. It's frustrating. So you know what? Have a career mode which combines universe mode and what was Road to WrestleMania or Attitude Era mode, where you can do everything like that. Make the choices, control the wrestler, do what you want to do. Put everything together from the beginning and then suit it where you want to. Change heel and face at the click of a button rather than having to go through 3 or 4 menus. Just make it simpler, a lot more streamlined, and just make it something where we can customize everything from the get-go so we don't have to worry about all the pre-existing crap. It's annoying, and it's one of the reasons why I actually phase away from using Universe Mode. It does not serve a purpose. Really. And finally, I would add the Buried Alive match back. Because honestly, if you can have an Inferno match, which you can set people on fire in, then why do you not put a Buried Alive match in when we've had one recently? We haven't had an Inferno match since 2006. So come on. Buried Alive match has been featured in the last 2 years in real life. Use it. And plus, take away the casket element, just make it like the real thing. It would be better for everybody, and I would literally love it, so I can use it in my created fed. Things I would remove. Commentary. 100% I would remove commentary, because Here Comes the Pain, it was a faster arcadey style game with great fluid control system. The reason why it was so intense and enthralling when you were inside it was there was some good music in the background and there was no fucking commentary. Even when the commentary is good like JR's in the Attitude Era mode, we still get pissed off at it because we don't like it. I personally want to come out and commentate on it myself, but I can't because it's stupid. Michael Cole and King are over the damn thing. I can't do it well. It's annoying. So get rid of it, I'd be happy. Create a storyline mode. I never saw the need for this. I know some people love it, but I find it way too fiddly. I find it really, really laborious to get anything done. I haven't got the time, and it's just stupid. So get out of here. And this one will be seen. This one might seem quite controversial, actually. But DLC. Now, you may be saying to me, oh my god, how could you get rid of DLC? It's the best thing ever. You get more superstars. It's awesome. No, it isn't. Because, have you noticed? I bought some SNES games. I've bought some GameCube games recently. And what's so good about those games, and I've realised, is there are very few glitches. There are very few finished, leftover bugs. You do not get that on older games because they spend time making something perfect, knowing they have not got the time to fill in the stuff later. With patches and downloadable content, you're technically saying to the world, we're making a good game here, but we're not going to completely finish it because we know we can update it later. What? You're paying these people shitloads of money. Why pay them to do a half-assed job? Because the DLC was created months ago, yet they have to release it later because of marketing. I don't know. To me, I want to see a fully finished game, no bugs, no glitches, nothing. That's what made Here Comes the Pain so good. There was no problem with it. And with this idea that you can fix stuff later, half-assed attitude, the game becomes poor. Why don't you look into everyone's eyes? They were complaining about the bugs and glitches in WWE 13, THQ, or whoever's going to run the game franchise after their bankruptcy, and say, you know what, we're going to take some time over this. We're going to make it as perfect as we can before releasing crap to make it better, okay? That'll make us all happier, it'll make me less pissed, and it'll work out fine. Whew. Did not think I get so pissed off about a video game, but you see how passionate I am now about this medium. Anyway, Mark Tam's 1990. Did you see much point in All-Stars considering there were only 30 superstars on the game's roster? You know what, I actually agree with you on this. I do not see much of a point. I really don't see much of a point in it because, okay, there were some names they missed out for obvious editorial reasons. They missed out on some big names for other reasons. They put some modern stars in who, to be honest, were dwarfed out by the legendary counterparts. And what was annoying for me was the whole game just seemed really shallow. I don't know, it just feels like they were just making it for just to get them more money. I would have liked it if they made it a lot bigger than it actually was. Gave it 2 or 3 years to build over time, put the right guys in, bam. It controlled really weirdly, and I felt the game, again, it did lack its purpose. If it had around 80 stars on it, hell, even some divas, I would have been pleased. But no, it was very half-assed. To be honest, Legends of WrestleMania looked a lot better than that. And that's me saying it, holy shit. Armageddon Time. Fucking love that. Fantastic name. Who's your favourite wrestler from the early 90s when I started watching? Bret Hart. 100% Bret Hart. Cannot go wrong with him. Undertaker wasn't big in the early 90s. It was only in the mid-90s when he really started to become something. Yeah, I'd go for Bret. Hands down, I'd go for Bret. Cantorous Mic Work. Which Mark Henry character did you like the most? Sexual Chocolate, Nation of Domination, or World's Strongest Man that he has now? Made Nation of Domination, he didn't really do anything to set himself apart from the rest of them. I mean, to be honest, The Godfather, Papa Shango, and to be honest with you, Farouk and others were better. Honestly, Mark Henry just seemed very inadequate, I found. Really, I found him really inadequate in that group. Even though he fit the bill in terms of a powerhouse. I mean, fuck it, Armour Johnson worked better in there compared to him. I'm just saying. Sexual Chocolate, I hate it with a passion. One of the worst gimmicks I've ever seen. And basically, I don't even need to explain it. Mae Young giving birth to a hand. Do we even need to say anything? It was stupid. So yeah, World's Strongest Man wins out due to the elimination process. Oh, sorry about that, burping due to the fact that I'm actually taking in so much air due to fast talking. Nintendo Fanboy 1988. Did you prefer Kevin Thorne or Mordecai? Which character did you like more and believe could have been booked better? The thing with these two characters, okay, they're portrayed by the same person, as we know. If you don't know, you just found out a useful little fact. The fact is, Mordecai I always liked better because it had a lot more depth they could have gone for it. I mean, okay, it was an evangelical white Undertaker. That's not racist, I'm legitimately stating that it was the light to darkness aspect that Shawn Michaels and Taker put through at WrestleMania 25, but years before that. And you see, okay, he was carrying a cross to the ring on his back, kind of unique. I liked the fact that he was very angry, doom-laden segments of the future of the world. I found that was very great because Taker only really did it towards a opponent he was going for. This was directed at everybody. And the fact with Mordecai, he was booked really shitly, actually, because he just got into fights with people. He never actually went for a reason. He didn't build very well over time. And I thought, what would have been so good? You know when Booker T fought Undertaker at Judgment Day 2004? It would have been fantastic, wouldn't it? If Booker T, after going to a voodoo shaman and it didn't manage to work, he would have gone to Mordecai to sort things out. How good would that have been? Then we would have at least had reason to see Undertaker versus Mordecai that many people were thinking was going to happen. And you know what? That would have worked so much better. Because then Booker T, knowing him, would have used his resourcefulness. Kevin Thorne didn't have much of a backstory to it. Just a vampire. To be honest, I'm amazed they haven't rehired him and used the gimmick now, knowing after what success Twilight's had. But, you know what, I liked the Mordecai character, and it should have been booked better. I've already mentioned why, no need to explain. So yeah, Mordecai is my choice on that one. Kevin Thorne looked incredible, and his moveset was a lot more diverse than the Mordecai character was, but I did like the actual character more for Mordecai, as there was a lot more to go down. And fuck it, he could have done just about anything if WWE gave him the choice. I mean, he could have gotten into a feud with Kenta Suzuki where he tried to crucify Himeko or something. Just saying, that's another idea that could have helped get Kenta Suzuki either loved or put over as a bigger heel by realising Mordecai is a decent, good character. But then again, could have happened, didn't happen, shouldn't focus on the past too much. But that's what the question's asked. NJ17. Now, I love this question in a way because it's kind of stupid in a way. There's no insulting to your intelligence or your ability, NJ. You are a fantastic person, but who do you like more, Ryback or Sandow, and why? Now, they are two completely different characters. And to be honest with you, they have two different sets of ability on them. Okay, Ryback is a very basic character. It's a Goldberg-esque dominating character who just goes out, says his normal catchphrase or word, and whoops him. Sandow uses a lot more. He talks about a game, and everything works out for him in terms of in-ring and mic work. Everything just works out better for Sandow. I've always preferred Sandow over Ryback. And no. Sorry to state you were stupid there, NJ. The question was, not you. And actually, I shouldn't say that either, because that's really, really demeaning. I apologise for just saying random things off the cuff. I'm hyperactive. Yeah, all works. Elizabeth 1990. What were your thoughts on Stacy Keibler when she got hit in the face with a chair by Chris Jericho in January 2003? I remember this quite well. Did it worry you about her health and well-being? Because my suspension of disbelief was intact, my no knowledge of outside wrestling shit was intact, I was really worried about her. I thought, you Jericho, you absolute bastard! How could you hit a woman like that? And because Stacy Keibler looked really, really cute and attractive, you thought, you want to show aggression towards a guy who hit that with a chair. Because, to be honest, I'm amazed UK TV even showed that. I don't know where if it wasn't the case, I don't know where I saw it, but it was I really wanted to have Jericho get his ass kicked, which did happen later down the line. So another question relating to Divas by Elizabeth 1990 here. What did you think of Victoria and Trish Stratus' feud from 2002 to 2003 and Victoria as Tara in TNA now? Oh man, Victoria versus Trish Stratus. What a good feud. Divas, look at this for a good feud. It had backstory, because Victoria was this normal woman who was kind of a psycho, if you didn't know, who was envious at Trish for getting a modelling job over her. I loved that personal animosity between the two, and to be honest with you, Victoria, best booked diva since China, in terms of strength, and one of the most unique finishers I've ever bloody seen. The Widow's Peak was a fantastic finisher. It was brilliant. It was everything I want a good finisher to be. It looked painful as fuck. It was really quite challenging to pull off because it was more of a gory position on the top of the skull. Really hard to pull that off. And it was fun. And the feud had a hardcore match in it, for fuck's sake. Come on. Can't go wrong with that. I'm annoyed it went slowly downhill towards the latter part of it when Jacqueline and Jazz and other people started interfering with it. But it was still, for the autumn and winter of 2002, it was brilliant and I loved it. I haven't really seen much of Victoria as Tara in TNA, but from what I've heard, it's relatively similar to her original Victoria gimmick. What's what I've been told by people, though. I can't confirm that, but then again, I mostly only watch the Knockouts division for Mickey James and a few other people, so sorry about that if I can't fully answer your question. Final limits. What did you think of Jazz? Were you a fan of hers? And would Beth versus her, or Natalya or Tamina, be good? You know what? I was a massive fan of Jazz. Mostly because, well, different from the usual cookie cutter, she had fantastic entrance music. Her last entrance music was intense. That saxophone playing in, and the rock riff just pounds in with the epic drums, and oh man, it just got you really psyched and a little bit scared when you're as young as I was. I will admit though, also the fact that, my god, she could beat up people. It was so fun to see a diva be that ridiculously strong and buff, and you see what I mean? When a diva is put over like that as a strong competitor, well, you get behind it quite a bit. Her versus Beth would be fantastic. Her versus Tamina would be reasonably good. Natalya is a very, very big submission-based wrestler. It could work, but I don't think it would work as well as the other two. Just saying. Anyway, MSDC Punk. Hey, got your first question, finally. Do you think Rock beating Cena has made it inevitable that Austin would beat Punk if they ever face in the future? You know what? The main difference about Rock Cena and Austin Punk, I'd find, is that Cena was willing to put Rock over for the sake of storyline progression. Austin would do the same for Punk, because Austin's one of those guys who is selfless. He loves the industry and would do whatever it needs to be done to put whoever needs to be put over. He would be willing to do it. He would be. And I think, to be honest with you, we'd all get pissed if Austin won. To be honest, even though Austin is in my top 5, Punk is my number 1. I'd be a little bit upset if Austin won. I wouldn't be too upset if the match was fantastic and it made me think that Punk and Austin both had a good chance of winning. I'd be fine with that. But yeah, the fact is, Austin will put over Punk and he will win. Just saying, Punk will win against Austin if they face. I can say that now, almost guaranteeing it, if it ever happens in the future. So yeah, Cena and Austin did what they had. Cena did what he had to do. Austin will do the same here. Nintendo Fanboy 1988. Another question from you here. What did you think of Waylon Mercy? Waylon Mercy. Was he that guy who was a Cape, in terms of appearance, Robert De Niro Cape Fear remake ripoff? But he had the what Festus had, where he basically just went from one thing to the other when the bell rang. I liked the way that this was done, actually, for Waylon Mercy. If you don't know Waylon Mercy, anyone out there, he basically was really, really happy, really happy, smarmy guy, really cocky, got in your face a little bit. He was alright. And then in the ring, the minute the bell rang, he just turned into a rabid, aggressive beast. But then after he had done a move, he was apologising for even hitting the move in the first place and being so aggressive. And then the minute the bell rang, he was back to normal again. And okay, you can say Festus pulled it off better by doing a gormless brain-dead gimmick, but the fact is, this was a normal person doing it. It made it much more. And I loved it. I love that silence of unpredictability, that whenever you see this guy in the ring, you have no fucking clue what he's going to do. I'm sad he didn't get much of a chance to prove himself after being against guys like Brett and Diesel and people like that. The fact is, yeah, injuries shortened that gimmick and his career ended, so sad to see that. I would have loved to have seen what Waylon Mercy would have done, because he was a decent ring guy. Napoleon Guru. Oh, this is a funny little question here. What are the chances he will return and unleash hell upon Ryback? We all know who I'm talking about. Goldberg. I don't think Goldberg's ever going to return, apart from a Hall of Fame induction, because, well, to be honest, he's said it multiple times. He's not going to put another penny in McMahon's pocket. He doesn't feel the need to do any wrestling. He's having a lot of good fun doing analytical stuff for the NFL and occasional movie roles. I think he's doing fine for himself. I know WWE doesn't need him. I know wrestling, to be honest, doesn't need him. So we don't need to worry about it at all. Plus, he's nearly 50. Enough said, WWE wouldn't sign him in a heartbeat, even with the name value. I mean, sure, I'd love him to make one appearance and spear Ryback for the hell of it, which could build to something, like a big Twitter feud or something, but yeah, it wouldn't go too far. And this is another question on a similar line from Napoleon Guru here. What happened to him, and what did you think of him? We know who I'm speaking of. The kid who made us feel bliss and enjoy everything every time we watched him wrestle, Zach Gowen. Zach Gowen, I found, was a pretty incredible wrestler because, okay, he wrestled with one leg. There's a gimmick there. People could easily market it. The fact is, the way he was put over in storyline made you really fucking love him. And to be honest with you, when you watch a guy wrestle with one leg, you want to see him win because you just kind of think, fuck it, that is impressive. You want to see a guy who impresses you win something. And to be honest, the match with Mr. McMahon at Vengeance 2003, one of my favourites, because I saw a real underdog almost beat the boss of the company and unintentionally bust him open with a steel chair. Come on. I want to actually review that pay-per-view for the sake of watching that match again. It'd be fantastic for me to do. I thought the gimmick leading up to it was fantastic. I love the fact, actually, that Laurinaitis wanted one-leg wrestler, and then that his scout ended up bringing the wrong fucking guy, but they still signed him anyway. That shows that at least he had the ability that they wanted anyway. I like that. I hated that his attitude made him be hated and then got released in the end. He had potential to be something good. His mic work, while feeble, was very, very reasonable for a guy of his age. I thought, imagine the one-legged guy who everyone thought didn't have a chance would win go into a Royal Rumble or win a World Championship. Imagine how much of a feel-good fucking story that would be. Because to some people, he's just a gimmicky marketing thing which can get people interested. To others, he would have been a fantastic character to watch. It would have been brilliant. It would have been fantastic. But he's doing okay on the independent scene. He has won a few championships every now and again. He's doing well for himself. But I want to see him back in WWE for just the sheer sake of him getting back in McMahon's face once again. Who would not love that? Or even, hell, even putting him in front of Laurinaitis' face. Or even, to be honest with you, Vicky Guerrero's face. That would be fun as hell. Mark Tam's 1990. Which wrestler or superstar, as you mentioned here, would you rather have win the World Championship? Great Khali, Jerry Lawler, Booker T, or Beth Phoenix? Now, okay, let me put this way. Beth Phoenix winning would demean the world title. She's out. Great Khali, I don't want to ever see him win ever again. He's out. Booker T already won it a few times, and I don't want to see him come out of retirement. He's out. So therefore, Joey the King Lawler is my only reasonable option. Because I've always wanted to see Jay win the title. When he had matches a couple of years ago for the championship, I really wanted him to win because it would have been fucking deserved. So, yeah, that would be perfect. Joey the King Lawler, there. NJ17. Hey NJ, you're finishing the wrestling section of my Q&A. How's that? What released or wrestler who quit would you like to see back in the WWE and why? MVP. I'd love to see back. Great wrestling ability. Great mic work. Would be nice in WWE's era to have someone as cool and epic as MVP do well. He has unfinished business. Same with John Morrison and Shelton Benjamin, I think. Guys like that who are very good but never really fully got their chance. You know? I would even have Kennedy back too if he wasn't such an arsehole. Or an asshole, as his t-shirt said. But yeah, guys like that, I would love to see them back. It would round off. They would be up in the upper mid-card area where Kofi Kingston and Wade Barrett are now, I'd feel. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is the wrestling section of the Q&A finished. Before we go on to the personal Q&A, here's a little bit of intermission while I put in my recharger cable. See you guys in a minute.
Welcome to intermission.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Cream Crazy's Wrestling Rant Personal Q&A. Hold on a second, I just mentioned wrestling before a personal Q&A. This is really bullshit because technically there shouldn't be any wrestling in this fucking thing because it's a personal part of the Q&A. Ah! Sorry about that, guys. You get a bit pissed off and stuck in the moment, and then that happens. So, I apologise wholeheartedly. We have a bit of a Q&A to get on with. Anyway, First question is from Real Spider-Man Noir fan. How come you're straight edge? Why have you never ever sipped alcohol or smoked anything in your whole entire life? Now, fact is, being a person I am with Asperger's, I do take things quite literally sometimes. I sometimes don't get the punchlines of jokes, all that kind of stuff. The fact is, the same thing happened when I was in biology lessons learning about the effects of alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Because to some people they're going, ugh, and leave it at that. I was legitimately disgusted by all the stuff that could happen to your body through these means. And I then thought, why would I even bother taking that stuff? It just doesn't seem right. So I said at the age of 13, coming out of a biology lesson, I am never taking alcohol, smoking, doing drugs, anything like that, ever. And people doubted me, saying, Fred, you're going to do that eventually. Let's see how many years it's been now. Yeah, it's been nearly 10 years. And I still haven't touched a drop. I still haven't smoked one. And I still haven't done any form of banned substances that can be classified as drugs. Yeah. Those who doubted me, hell, you know where you can stick it. And the fact is, even better, even at uni when they said, Fred, you are bound to be drinking at some point. I've been there a term and I haven't done it either, so again, all you doubters, you know where to go. That's why I love the fact I have a strong amount of willpower, ladies and gentlemen. It bloody works. Anyway, hope that answers your question, man. Playlist Maker SG, what made you want to make a YouTube? To be honest with you, I only made YouTube to begin with to like, comment, rate things. But then, of course, I realised how epic it was for posting wrestling thoughts around 2007 when I saw a few shooters. I think one person giving his reviews and opinions, he's not around anymore, but Isba1993, who was a decent YouTuber, he kind of made me realise, there's a world out there of people who make videos about wrestling here. Why don't I do that? I, of course, had no idea all you needed was a webcam built into a computer to do it. I thought you needed some specialist equipment or something ridiculous like that, so I never ended up getting round to it. When I realised there's a fucking webcam built into my computer and I can make these damn videos, why not? Makes perfect sense of reason. I just realised, fuck it, I've mentioned wrestling in a personal Q&A. Then again, it happens. But yeah, that's basically it. I got to the video stage way after actually making the account. So, yeah, I didn't really... That's a bit of a long progress. In fact, that's why it says made account in 2006 when I started making videos properly in 2010. So, hope that makes sense. Final limits. What are your thoughts on Angry Grandpa from YouTube? Okay, the fact about Angry Grandpa, I've seen a few times now over the course of the last couple of years. The first couple were quite funny. Because, to be honest with you, they were awesome. Because the grandpa was legitimately pissed. But when they got a lot of attention for it, you kind of realise, well, hold on a second, that grandpa must know that what he is doing gets him fame, and he's just putting it on for the camera now. It loses that authenticity. I don't like them as much anymore. Cancerous Micwork. What is your favourite food? Oh, God, I could not even begin to even choose a favourite food. I'll just list loads of favourites. My dad's roast dinners, predominantly because they are the best things known to man. Any form of meat, to be honest with you, meat, I'm a resident fucking carnivore. Why not? Baked goods, because to be honest, if it's made out of pastry, whether it's savoury or sweet, it's damn awesome. Chinese food, Indian food, Italian food, American food, shot. Basically, I'm a food guy. I like a lot of food. Amazingly, I kind of know what things are meant to taste like, even though I don't cook it. Yeah, I don't cook because of my phobia of getting food poisoning and fucking it up. So, yeah, I should cook more, but yeah, whatever. Food in general, I absolutely love. And also burritos too. Cannot go anywhere without mentioning I'm a fan of burritos. Fucking delicious. Had my first one in Australia on a holiday. Epic. epic stuff. And I was trying to find the Luardo's burrito truck when I was in London the other day. Couldn't find one. Then again, I found a chicken tikka masala street vendor just around the corner from where it would have been. So, hooray for me. Jason MUFC WWE. What are your top 5 bands? Now, I already made a video about this, but just in case you haven't seen that video, Rush, Alter Bridge, The Smashing Pumpkins, The Jezebels, and Silver Sun Pickups. Go check out all 5 of those if you haven't. Epic stuff there. Epic people and stuff. Fan base for all of them is good. Playermaker SG. Do you have a favourite pop-punk band? Probably say Blink, I would say, because there aren't too many pop-punk bands that get my attention. Although, I would probably go for Brand New as well, because they started off pop-punk and then went to something a lot darker, so I'd probably say them, even though they aren't even pop-punk anymore. So, yeah. And as the Mage, what are your thoughts on Taylor Swift? Now, I've already mentioned a few questions about this. I've got to respect her for being successful and using a decent voice to make herself famous. Gotta give her respect for that. I don't like the fact, however, she's using the country music genre to do it. Just saying. She could do something a lot better with a voice that good. Large 85. If Kurt Cobain was alive today, do you think Nirvana would still exist, or would they be outshined and forgotten about due to people like Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus? Plus, how would Kurt look like today, keeping in mind he did a shitload of drugs when he was young? The fact with Nirvana is, and I've learned to be quite blunt with this, the only reason they're held in such high regard now is because Kurt Cobain killed himself. That's the thing. They would probably be a Foo Fighters, where they'd be heavily respected. They would be still doing a couple of albums every couple of years and basically doing large tours. That's basically where they would be right now. They would still be loved and get mainstream attention, but they wouldn't be on all the time. They would still be a very rock radio station based, like Planet Rock or the Rock Radio up in Scotland, or even Daniel P. Carter's show. They'd probably be occasionally on things like Radio 1, Radio 2, and then they'd be back on the specialist shows for after that, or even just on Kerrang or something like, or an NME or something like that. They would just be on those kind of things. They wouldn't actually be everywhere, because they would not be seen as culturally relevant. Even though, to be honest, some of the bands that are still around, like, well, Rush and Rolling Stones and Eagles, they still are mainstreamly relevant in modern day times after their original amount of success went due to a legacy, but then again, they had 30 or 40 years to build up a legacy. Nirvana didn't even have that. So, yeah, it's simple as it is. I think they would not be in the mainstream radio conscience when they get to this, if they end up getting to this point. Like I said, they'd be like Foo Fighters, effectively. Even though Foo Fighters would not have technically existed, they would effectively be that. Kurt, to be honest, would look more like me. I think his hair would be thinning away quite a bit, still keeping his facial hair, and have be wrinkled lines all over his face. Like I said, probably me. And his voice might be a bit fucked, his life might be a bit shit, but you know what? He will probably look like me, but a bit worse. Actually, fuck it, way, way worse. Final limits. What are 3 of your favourite movies to watch and why? Well, let me see. 1. Persepolis. Simply because the film took the very simple black and white 2-colour tone style from the original graphic novel and made it unbelievable. Did not tone down the message or the graphic scenes or anything. It was really good. And honestly to God, if you haven't seen Persepolis, go watch it now. It is one of the most hard-hitting films that I have ever seen, personally. It is ridiculously emotional. The fact that, hell, it's telling about a girl growing up in pre-revolutionary Iran and post it as well. It's incredible, telling one person's life story, because it isn't just something written by a writer to say, oh, this is what it's like. She actually fucking lived it. It's telling her life story up until that point. So, go watch it. I've seen it many times. I never get sick of it. And in animated form, it just makes it a whole lot better. Because you find the animation style cute in terms of just how very simple it is and how quite sweet it makes the faces of the characters look. But in all fairness, the story and the actual colour tone of it all just masks all over, and that intense, dark, brooding emotion of it all. It's fantastic. Second, swimming with sharks, and I showed you guys that in my live stream if you didn't see, and mostly because, again, I keep saying it, the acting is incredible in that film. I never get sick of it. I've seen it so many times now, I can't even count. It is brilliant. And then as a collective unit, Studio Ghibli films, because honestly, they are animated perfection. Seriously, Princess Mononoke, Go Over the Fireflies, Kiki's Delivery Service, Whisper of the Heart, Spirited Away, Laputa Castle in the Sky, Nausicaa. Big movies that have had a massive impact on the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years of my life. They are fundamentally brilliant in animation, story, putting out great roles for women in animation as well. In fact, I did a big part of my A-level coursework on it. It is fantastic stuff. It's brilliant. Okay, the English voice acting might be a bit shit sometimes, but it does fit the part anyway. I will watch them all for many, many reasons. Large 85. Who is your favourite actor and actress? Actress has to be Amy Adams because she puts a lot of good stuff into her roles. Even she has a major diversity of roles as well. I mean, she's been in family-friendly films like Enchanted and The Muppets, and then also been in really intense ones like The Master and The Fighter. I mean, to be honest with you, she's a very diverse actress who I do respect hugely for her work. My favourite actor is Kevin Spacey, I've already mentioned, because honestly to God, even the shittest film that he touches gets praised for his acting ability. That takes skill. That takes skill for an actor to be praised even in the shittest films they're in. That I respect hugely, and in most of the films I've seen with him in it, he is as good as they say. Enough said. Nintendo Fanboy 1988. What video game consoles do you have and play the most? Well, of course you guys know I've got the Super Nintendo coming, as you know. I own a 3DS, which you have seen on my last Q&A. I have a Wii, which I use for GameCube purposes. I have a PS2. I have a Dreamcast. An Xbox up there, which I do use the most, I will say. An N64. I have owned 2 previous generations of Game Boys in the past. An original GameCube, I should say. I did have a PC for gaming, but I don't bother with that now because I've got a laptop to just do everything and game online and bullshit like that. You know, I have a lot of games consoles. And also, I did used to have a PSP. I have owned a lot of games consoles in the past. I regularly now use the Wii for GameCube purposes. I use the DS every now and again. And I will probably use the Super Nintendo a hell of a lot because I've got a load of games to get through. But I use the Xbox more than every other console. It is awesome to use, and the games are still epic, so end of story. Mark Tam's Wrestling. That's Mark Tam's 1990s new channel. Do you ever play video games besides WWE games? Of course. I mean, I play FIFA, third person sandboxes. I keep getting that fucking wrong every time I mention that. That's about it, really. They're the ones I mostly play. Oh, and racing games as well, because you can't go wrong with a few good racing games now, can you? Yeah, but they're most of the games I do play. Final limits. What do you like more? Mario games or Sonic games? And have you ever played the Tomb Raider games? I think you may have asked me this in my live stream. I think you may have asked me the Tomb Raider one. I've never played a Tomb Raider game. Simple. I've always liked Sonic because it was the first game I ever played. Mario, I've come to respect a lot more since playing Super Mario Sunshine again, but I still think Super Mario Galaxy is one of the most overrated pieces of shit in the world. Honestly. I really, really do. Real Spider-Man Noir fan. What do you think of the Grand Theft Auto games? And if you like them, what are your top 5? Who's your favourite character? And what do you do? Do you play the game's missions or just kill people? Fact is though, I've only played 3 GTA games. Vice City, San Andreas, and 4. I've only played 4 and San Andreas a lot. I didn't like Vice City too much. Then it would be San Andreas. Then it would be 4. Because 4 is the one I immersed myself a lot in more. I never really cared much about the characters in San Andreas. It wasn't my kind of thing. Vice City, again, I didn't really give a shit about the game entirely. So, and I always liked Roman Bellic from GTA 4. The guy was nuts. He put a smile on your face, but just because of his insanity, and you wanted to punch him in the face at the same time. Can't get any better than that. And honestly, I play the game's missions and then kill people along the side in between them, so I'm getting the best of both worlds. How's that? And as the mage, if your Xbox 360 or PS3 blew up while playing, what would you do? Freak out for the most part, because I was playing a game, and it cut out when I was in the menu, and then the red rings of death popped up, and I literally wanted to punch this fucking console in. But then again, I'm happy this one hasn't had that happen, and I'm just hoping I haven't jinxed it. Really do hope I have not just jinxed this fucking machine, thanks to this question. Sorry about that. Nintendo Fanboy, 1988. What famous person do you hate with a passion? Do you hate Lindsay Lohan and Amanda Bynes like I do? I'm not a fan of Lindsay Lohan by any means. I think she's a bit stupid for going through all she can and making shit films. Proves that she's the bottom barrel of Hollywood society and does not deserve to be given any more film opportunities. There aren't too many people who I get pissed off at when I look at a TV screen nowadays, because to be honest, I try and put that in the back of my mind. There are a few in my head that I really don't like, but I honestly cannot for the life of me remember them. It's usually the kind of thing that goes to my head almost instantaneously. Fuck, I don't understand why I'm forgetting celebrity names of people I don't like when I mention them on a regular basis. Bloody hell. You know what, I will get back to you later on that one. Because I know who I hate, and I know who I do with a fucking passion, but it's not coming on top of my head right now. Really isn't. So, I'm sorry about that. Mark Tam's Wrestling. What is your ideal friend? Basically a person who likes similar things to me, is understanding and caring, and is awesome. Basically, I have a couple of people in my life who are those three things together. Epic win for whoever you guys. You know who you are. Jason, MUFC, WWE. If you can go anywhere on holiday, where would it be and why? There are a lot of places I do want to go. I mean, I want to go to the north of Italy for once. I'd love to go to Canada for the wrestling purposes, obviously. I'd like to go to Japan with my brother and his mates because I would have to rely on them for the language barrier. Shot for being lazy. But I would love to go to America. People who live there or people who have gone there may say it's not all it's cracked up to be. Fact is, I've never been. So I have no idea. I mean, I went to Australia and I've come back from it with a bigger perspective and respect for the country in general. Seriously, if you've never been to Australia and you don't realise how big the place is, you'll see how big it is when you're there. Because it's a long, long trip, my friends. Even going across the country takes a while. That's it. Yeah, I've never been to America, so I'll go there. I'll go to New York, I'll go to Chicago, I was thinking of going around like a man versus food style thing, where I just go to the places that Adam Richmond recommended and checking them out. That kind of thing. I'd love to do that one day. That would be fucking awesome. Playlist Maker SG. What is your most embarrassing moment? You know what? For purposes of my sanity, yours, and privacy, I am not going to answer this question. So, sorry about that, but for the benefit of everything, I'm not going to even contemplate answering that for obvious reasons. Hope you understand, but even though I'm the most open person in the world, even on YouTube I consider myself incredibly open, I am not going to reveal that. Because it's like revealing kryptonite, or something incredibly worse than kryptonite. You don't want people laughing at you for it. Just saying. And as the mage, do you like fried chicken? Fuck yeah, I like fried chicken. Thanks for reminding me that I didn't get KFC the other day. Fuck, I want KFC right now. Ugh. Bollocks, I've just eaten dinner and I'm hungry. Why? Why? Never mind. I don't want to have that stupid calm the fuck down page come on again. Anyway. Armageddon time. What's the craziest girlfriend story you can recall? Here's some breaking news. If you didn't know, I've never had a girlfriend. It's a shock to everyone I state it to, but it's true. There is no girlfriend story because I have never fucking had one. That's mostly out of personal choice or no one, to be honest, fitting of what I like. Then again, there are people out there, I just haven't made any advances. Then again, why would I want to make advances? That would creep you out. So, what matters? I think, to be honest with you, if anyone looks at my face and say, "Ha ha, you're a weirdo," they'd probably be half right. Oh god, look at me, I'm putting myself down again on a YouTube video. Whoop-de-fucking-do. That's life, folks. Anyway, oh god, I love answering these bloody questions. They're awesome. Mark Tams Wrestling. Why do you not want to make a Twitter account? Now, I've said this many times, because technically some things you say on Twitter can land you in court. Some things you say on Facebook could put you in court. YouTube, however, I have not seen that happen in the slightest. It's a free reign for me to say whatever the hell I want. Brilliant, isn't it? I mean, the fact is, okay, they may have lessened the laws regarding offensive material online, but fuck it. That still doesn't make me want to use a Twitter account, because I can't sum everything out I want to say in a less than 140 characters, because my YouTube videos go for over a fucking hour. Sometimes. I can't put an hour's worth of comment into 140 characters, can I? Even on Facebook I struggle to fill in anything longer than a little bit. It's just ridiculous sometimes. I want to put more than they're telling me. I don't want to have to put hashtags that fill up the entire sentence, so I can't put everything I want to put in. It's stupid. So why would I want to use Twitter? It may be the massive thing, but Facebook and YouTube are better for me. Really. Because you wouldn't hear all this coming from me if I was using Twitter. You do little snippets every now and again, and I have to keep reposting myself. Not good. Nintendo Fanboy 1988. Do you work out? Why or why the hell not? I don't work out, because if you've noticed in some of my videos, I look quite fat. And to be honest with you, if I showed you my Q&A live stream, patting my belly, I am out of shape pretty bad. I don't work out because it's painful and I'm very, very lazy. Quite simply. Catcher's mic work. What makes you pissed? Angry. Term pissed. There's people in the world who... let me just say this. Try to not be or sound intelligent just for the hell of it. To be honest with you, it's those kind of people who I think would be quite smart if they didn't just try and fit with what the stereotype of them tries to tell them to do. Or do idiotic things, or just put themselves down a lot as really below what they could be. Because in this world, we're all effectively told we can't reach the epitome of what we want to be, so therefore we have to embrace the lower side. That's why these TV programs like The Jersey Shore and The Only Way is Essex and Made in Chelsea and crap like that are there, to tell you what the lowest common denominator bottom end looks like, so you can then think, oh, I want to aspire to be that. Therefore, to me, it is very idiotic, it is very stupid, and it annoys me hugely. It really does, because that makes me angry that people are deciding to put themselves to look a lot lower in stature through speech and knowledge because they're wanting to be like that. And it annoys me. It really does that people just keep doing that. What also pisses me off, and there are a lot of other things that grind my gears in this modern day world, smokers. Because smoke from cigarettes smells awful. Honestly, to God, I don't care if you do smoke, though, and you're a friend of mine, or other people I know. You can smoke if you want to, but that's not the problem here. The smell of smoke gets me angry, because it makes me want to puke. In fact, I remember when smoking was at least allowed in football grounds at Ipswich. I just sat there, I just sit around loads of smoking people, and hell, that made me even want to not smoke even more than that, because the smell was just... it was awful. Just the smell of smoke makes me angry. Honest to God, awful stuff. Seriously. What else makes me pissed? Oh yeah, actually, I said I'd get back to famous people who piss me off. Paris Hilton. Her in general. She is famous for no reason. The fact she's in the news for some reason gets me angry. She's a worthless whore who does not deserve any form of fame. That makes me pissed. A person who does literally nothing for a living, like her or Jordan, Katie Price, who just has massive tits, that they somehow get famous? That doesn't make sense. That makes me angry that a person who has never worked for anything in their life can effectively be famous. I mean, 'cause honestly, I managed to get to where I am through hard work and determination. Hell, I wouldn't be at university now if it wasn't for that. Hell, I wouldn't be on YouTube making videos for people. Because that would be my thinking, I can become famous immediately. Fact is, I'm on 200 fucking subscribers and I'm fine with that. I'm okay with being something lower down. I don't need to be bigger than I am or be famous through one video to make myself something. You know what I mean? People who make themselves famous doing nothing are just one of those really annoying things that just makes me want to punch society in its face. Calm down, Fred. I know the question said makes you pissed. I don't want to have that again, that calm the fuck down thing. I don't want that coming back again. Armageddon time. What is your favourite childhood movie? There is one movie that comes into my mind that is very childhood nostalgia for me. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. You may be saying to me, stupid choice. But then again, I used to watch it a hell of a lot as a young kid. And it was the shit. And you know what's quite funny? I think after TLC 2010, there was nothing on afterwards. I was feeling a little bit bored. I actually decided I found it on Sky Movies and thought, fuck it, I'm watching this. Okay, I used my film studies knowledge to pick it apart and critique it for being a really shit movie, but the nostalgia was still there. Oh, and also the fact I got to see Lord Zed again proved just how epic the character is. Good God, why do they have to make him such a comedy character? Bloody hell, he still looks fucking scary, even looking back. Enough said. Real Spider-Man Noir fan, what do you do for a living? What jobs do you have? And have you ever done anything you didn't like? I've never had a job. I'm still in education. I'm still a student. I mean, the only real, I wouldn't say it's a job, but doing stuff on YouTube. I don't get paid for it, but yeah. I did do work experience at the radio station in Guildford a couple summers back, which was epic. Can't remember that. That's probably the closest thing to a job I've had so far. It was good. God, I can't wait to go into the industry full time. That would be sweet. MJ17. What do you do in your spare time? Sleep for the most part. To be honest with you, I love sleep. It is awesome. Can't go wrong with that. That's the reason why this Q&A went up late. Playing video games, watching television, walking, actually, I quite enjoy. Just being anywhere, being able to see places, I quite like that. Singing when I need to, when it doesn't hurt me, for the most part. Yeah. It's not very basic. I mean, I'm listening to music also. I mean, the fact is, people say to me, Fred, you're wasting your life. Get a real hobby. Well, look at me. I'm enjoying life. I can enjoy what I do. It's me doing what I want. I can watch what I like. I can do what I like. And I have a smile on my face. The fact is, if someone says to you, that's wasting your life, it builds up knowledge in many ways which they could not imagine. Therefore, I feel myself to be a little bit bigger than some of those people who believe, oh, I go skydiving and I go around helping people. Hold on, you can do what you want to do, I'll do what I want to do. Let's leave it at that. Large 85. What do you like to do when you're not watching football or wrestling? Well, I've just said, so that answers that question. NJ, your final question, and to be honest with you, the final question of this personal Q&A. If you had to set 3 goals from the point of recording this Q&A, what would they be? 1, I would learn to cook something properly, because I need to cook something, and I need to go back to uni knowing I can. That's something I definitely want to do. 2, to go to WrestleMania, because it's a goal, it's something I want to do, I want to go to WrestleMania, I've wanted to do for so long, it is the goal, but if I had to do anything apart from that, it would probably, oh, bloody hell. There's a second goal I had in my fucking head, and I can't bloody remember it. Oh yeah, watch a load of those DVDs I've bought that I haven't actually watched yet. That's another one. Because I've built up a reputation of buying DVDs and CDs that I haven't listened to or watched. And my brother just goes at me. I'll need to give some of them a watch at some point. And the third one, which to me is my most important life goal, is to live past the age of 30. Now, you may be saying to me, that's a really stupid life goal. Well, think about it here. With my really unfit physique, my diet, which has become quite shit over the last couple of years, and my laziness, which seizes up my muscles and could cause DVT, you know what? And the dangers of everyday life as we know it, that life goal seems pretty realistic to want to go for, because in this day in life, you could drop dead at the snap of a finger, and I want to make life a challenge, do things, and just hope it doesn't kill me along the way. Which is the reason why I was a bit nervous about going to Australia via an airplane, because, again, I'm dicing with death going on a Qantas flight. Again, that's also a stereotype of the airline, but you see my point there. You see, I always said to myself that my own emotional psyche is very bipolar. I can feel really happy, and then one thing can make it ridiculously sad, and my mind will always say to me, look at the positives, but my mind will also tell me not to. And in this world where it's hard to really feel one thing or the other both ways, I want to be able to say, I have a target to reach for. I don't want life to get the better of me before this point. I want to say to the world, you know what? I was premature at birth and I nearly died from that. I've gone through so much crap so far, and I've nearly killed myself before. I want to say to people, look, I've survived everything, I've gotten through it all, I then want to make it to 30 and stick a middle finger up to the universe and say, look at me, I fucking made it. That's something really fulfilling for me. I want to be able to say to the world, fuck all of your problems, I've made it to this point, and get that sense of satisfaction that, yeah, I've gone against the psyche of what the world can throw at you, and I've come out unscathed. Okay, I shouldn't say unscathed, because I have a few problems which I still haven't managed to iron out. But you see my point, guys. That goal is extremely important to me. People do laugh at me when I say it, but it fits the bill. It's everything I want from a goal. It's something that's achievable in its own way. It's something that's difficult to achieve in its own way when life throws crap at you, and it'll be so fulfilling once I make it. Makes perfect sense, am I right, folks? And, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. The December Q&A is finito. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and Nintendo Fanboy 1988, I hope you've enjoyed this, because you kept having a go at me saying, when are you going to post it? When are you going to post it? When are you going to post it? Hope you've enjoyed it now. Guys, I'll see you next time for my Wrestling Rant Awards vid on the 1st of January, New Year's Day, and that will effectively mean that'll be the start of my hiatus after that one. So I'll iron out all the details there and then about what's going to happen, and I hope you guys are going to be there for it. And remember, guys, vote on the IWC's most hated poll. It'll be in the description box below. I hope you guys vote for that, because to be honest with you, what's happened so far, I can't believe it, because the thing I was hoping that would win isn't actually winning. Holy shit! You guys are shocking me. So keep those votes coming in the description box. Click below. All should be good. Guys, I've been Cream Crazy. You've been people listening. This has been my December Q&A video. And I will see you on New Year's Day. Cheers, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. And if you don't see me before just after New Year's Day, have a fucking great New Year.